Hello. It is Thursday. I don't know what day it is. Let's see, July 18th. So I haven't recorded anything in a while. If I have prepared the dish or videotaped it before, I don't bother to record it. So I've been cooking, but just not recording it. Tonight or today, I'm going to try a classic shepherd's pie recipe, but I'm going to make it in a casserole. I like casseroles. I find that they're easy. I can get it all prepped at once, and then we can have leftovers for a couple days. I'm going to, whenever I find a recipe I like, I usually modify it just for my own preferences. So this recipe calls for ground beef or ground lamb, but I actually like both. So I'm actually going to combine it with ground beef and ground lamb. And then the recipe calls for russet potatoes to make like a mashed potatoes, but I prefer golden yellow potatoes. So I'm going to prep everything and I will show you as I cook it. Like I said, it's supposedly the best classic shepherd pie recipe, but as usual, I'm modifying it. So it's going to be a Mama Saraj shepherd's pie recipe. So I hope you enjoy it and I hope everybody's doing well. I know we've had some crazy weather here. Iowa's been slammed. Sorry to all my family in Iowa. And California, we're having a lot of heat waves, which is making it not very fun to cook in the kitchen. But the girl's got to do what a girl's got to do. All right, talk to you soon. Cheers. As you can see, I've got the ingredients kind of set up here for you. I think this recipe, I'm going to go ahead and type in the description. I'm going to go ahead and add the measurements for this because I know it's hard to kind of, have this all memorized if I don't post the recipe itself, but at least you get a visual. I'm going to be putting in 1 pound of ground beef, 1 pound of ground lamb, some garlic, some Worcestershire sauce, some beef stock, some salt, pepper, parsley, rosemary, thyme, tomato paste, little garlic and onion, and then actually fresh garlic or minced garlic. And we're going to brown the meat in that yellow onion there. I've already prepped the peas and I had fresh carrots. So those are actually fresh carrots. So I went ahead and prepped those. The recipe calls for corn, but I'm not putting corn. I'm just putting extra peas and carrots because I like those better. And then I'm boiling the water for the potatoes so I can get that prepped. So that's going to be stage 1. Well, hello. I had like probably a 3-4 hour break in between my last recording. A friend of mine came over. We have a fire pit in the backyard and we're trying to troubleshoot why it's not working. So we did that and then we decided to go have a cold beer and something to eat. And now I'm back trying to finish this dish. Right now we're boiling the water. I was going to notice that my battery is running low. Oh well. Boiling the water for the potatoes, and I'm browning the onions, and then we're going to add the meat. So basically, we're getting all the ingredients together so that we can finish this dish. But I thought I'd share a funny story with you. So I don't know if you're all aware of it. I'm sure you are, but we're supposed to have real IDs in 2025 if we want to travel. If we don't have passports. So in order to get on an airplane, you're either going to have a real ID or you're going to have a U.S. passport. So my driver's license expired on my birthday in June. So I decided, okay, I'll just go ahead and get my real ID. And I was pretty excited about it. Actually, it ended up being a pretty simple process for me. I went there with the intention of just getting my driver's license renewed, but I brought my birth certificate to see if it would work because it's my original birth certificate from when I was born. And I was thinking maybe that's not going to be legal and binding. But apparently it was. And she says, well, if you have your car registration in the car, if you want to go and get it, well, I'll go ahead and get your real ID today. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So I was all excited and got my real ID and I got my picture like 2 weeks ago. Horrible picture. The worst picture I've ever had on an ID. So now I'm torn. Like, do I want to try to do something about it, or I just want to whatever? It is what it is. But I guess it is going to be what it is. And I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but the onions are sizzling. So we're gonna pause while we get ready for the next step of this uh, shepherd's pie. And like I said, I've made a lot of little modifications to it, and I really am hoping at some point you're all going to give me some kind of feedback on this channel, because I have yet to get many comments, and it'd be much more fun if it was a little more interactive, but whatever. All right, cheers. As you can see, this is the first stage of this. We've got the onions starting to cook, and now we've added 1 pound of ground beef and 1 pound of ground lamb. And then we got our potatoes over here. These are Yukon potatoes. Like I said, the recipe called for russet, but I personally like these potatoes better. So I will keep you abreast of the stages, but so far, it smells good. By the way, shout out to my cousin Kay. Here you go. There's my soap I got from Muscatine, Iowa. My watermelon muscatine marrow soap. And I hope you guys are surviving these storms you're getting. You're getting a lot of flooding and a lot of high winds and tornado threats, so stay safe. Here's another modification I made. I'm using my big lasagna pan because I've doubled up on the meat on this. Like I said, I'm putting in 1 pound of ground beef and 1 pound of lamb, so it's got more. Plus, I've got more vegetables and probably more potatoes as well. But I did put in a layer of, I sprayed avocado oil, and then I put in panko because I want to try to create this crispy part on the bottom. I'm preheating the oven to 400 degrees. So I'm hoping that's going to give it a bit more of a stronger texture, so that when I cut this, it's not going to be really mushy. So anyway, like I said, when you're the cook, you can make all kinds of modifications. So wish me luck. So we browned the meat, and then we added in 3 tablespoons of parsley and 1.5 teaspoons of rosemary, 1.5 teaspoons of thyme, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of pepper, and 3 teaspoons of garlic. So we'll stir that all up, and then we're going to add in some Worcestershire sauce, 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, which is, I can't even say it, and flour and tomato paste in a bit. But right now, we're going to stir this all up. All right, we simmered all the spices with the meat for about 7 minutes, and now we've added 4 tablespoons of flour and 4 tablespoons of tomato paste. And we're going to stir this all up and see how it looks. Well, doesn't look too bad. Now we're going to add the peas and the carrots and the beef broth. Oh boy. Oh, we've got in 2 cups of beef broth. We've got in 2 cups of vegetables. And like I said, I just did carrots and peas. I did not bother to add any corn. It just didn't sound good to me. So we're going to let this simmer for about 5 minutes. Oh boy, we're getting close. Meanwhile, while that meat is simmering for 5 minutes, I am going to melt a half a cup of butter, and then I'm going to make my mashed potatoes. And I like to use, like I said, Yukon Gold potatoes, and there's probably about 3.5 pounds. And I like to add buttermilk and salt and pepper to my mashed potatoes. So I'll show you what it looks like when I get to that point. But I'm really old school. I use a old-fashioned masher, and it's going to be really good, I think. I'm just saying those mashed potatoes look pretty darn good, and that's really just potatoes, buttermilk, and butter. I didn't put any salt and pepper in. I'm debating whether I will. There's already salt and pepper and flavors in the other stuff. I may add a little. I'll keep you posted. Still struggling with this music because I listen to music when I'm cooking, but YouTube will not allow you to play music in the background because of copyright. So hopefully none of that was picked up. I did just pause it again. This is a layer, so I put a nice layer of panko on the bottom. Like I said, I wanted kind of a crunchy on the bottom. This is the meat with all the goodies in it. And now we're going to put in a layer of potato. And then I'll probably layer it with a little panko and a little bit of cheese on top. And then we're going to bake it for, I think, 30 minutes at 400 degrees, but I'll keep you posted. I have to admit that looks so good. So we put the meat in and then we put the layer of mashed potatoes. And I did not add any more salt and pepper. I think it's seasoned enough. It's just really nice buttery flavor. Then I added more panko because, like I said, our house we like texture. So I added panko because it gives a little crunchy. And I put in shredded parmesan on top. So we are now going to bake this for 30 minutes at 400 degrees. And I can't wait to see how it looks. Yay! All right, I'm waiting for this dish to cook. It's going to cook, like I said, for 30 minutes. But what I'm really hoping is, as people who watch this channel, I really would enjoy it if you would make some suggestions. I've had a couple of people suggest they'd like to see some vegetarian dishes, which we're not really vegetarians, but I'm happy to try some recipes. And then also, we really haven't done any desserts yet. And then someone suggested that I create a channel where it's, you made it for the first time. Well, this is the first of that because this is the first time I've made this dish. So I hope you enjoy the channel, and I truly hope that you will subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you give me a thumbs up and truly give me some feedback and comments. So I'm very hot in this kitchen. We are having a lot of heat in California right now, and it is kind of miserable to be in a hot kitchen, but I do enjoy cooking. So see you on the next one. Cheers.